Okay, so I just played for like 4.5 hours, I think. And I'm gonna give quick first impressions. I thought there was gonna be like an actual patch notes to go through. There isn't. So my video today is going to be first impressions of this whole thing. So I got to play a myriad of roles, although I think I ended up mostly on DPS when I was queuing all roles here. And I played with a lot of different perks. I tried out a lot more of the ones that were a little more unique. That was kind of what I was going for. So whenever possible, I was picking like the Hanzo Health Pack one and the Mauga Two Hearts one and that kind of stuff. I was somewhat thinking about what I think was the best option. But for most of it, I was like kind of just trying to test the waters a little. I played one game of ranked. It sucked. The reset hurts really bad. My team was just completely on different pages about what to do with these perks, and that is going to dictate a lot of things. I think a lot of people are not going to understand how to properly play with them and how to properly pick them. And I think we'll start there. Picking perks for the situation. A lot of characters are going to have perks that are just kind of like must picks. That is going to happen. I don't think there's any way around that, but there were definitely a couple of points where I felt like I either picked the wrong perk because the team, was kind of countering me, or, like I actually had to kind of actively think. I was like, what is going to be the best thing here? A good example I can think of is Baptiste. I played one game on Bap. I was on defense on Numbani, of course, into super dive heavy. And the first one I picked was the lamp one. The lamp that, like, when it breaks, it gives you health. That is pretty anti-dive, right? They dive you, you throw the lamp down, and they break the lamp and you get health. So I thought that was pretty good. But I then started going, okay, well, I have the anti-dive. What if I can greed with the regen burst and do the one where I get attack speed with the regen burst and not get the one where he jumps, he gets like the extra jump in the air? And I have to admit, I think it was the worst choice I made. Like one of the worst choices I made all day, because I really felt like I was still getting like steamrolled, especially like as the other team was getting their perks and their game plans were getting better. Winston with the rejuvenating bubble and Genji getting the like resets on double jump. He's so mobile, he can get anywhere. I was cooked, right? So there are definitely characters where carefully planning and like looking at what they have and thinking about the map too is going to matter a lot when you are like picking your perks, right? And I was kind of thinking about that as well. I had a game on Mauga where I was against another Mauga and a Bastion and a Junkrat, and my healing backline was not very good. And so I was just like, I had to focus on like playing the objective super hard, playing for my life really hard. And then I got the other survivability one because I literally needed all the help I could get to weather the storm. And that was really interesting, trying to like min-max my survivability and go, okay, like I know that I have these type of things. Where I take fights is going to be really important, because if I'm not on the bot, then I'm losing out on a lot of that. And I also have to make sure I hit crits before I go in and use my cardiac so I get that extra overhealth, right? That was really, really engaging, on a character, even in Mauga versus Mauga, Bastion, Junkrat, where it should be just like nothing. And, of course, there was a lot of just me shooting the other Mauga. It felt like I was thinking a lot more about what I was doing, and we were winning fights based on me playing around that more. That felt really, really good. And I think that is the end goal, right? Another one, Sojourn, the final thing, either you can pick like the double lateral slide, or you can pick the, what's it called? The one that's the siphon, the thing that sticks onto people. And we were playing on Hollywood. In fact, that was my ranked game that I played. We were playing on Hollywood, and I was thinking to myself, I'm like, okay, I definitely cannot take the double lateral one because this map is much too vertical. And I think if I did take that, we would have gotten nowhere close to winning that game. We didn't win that game because my team sucked. But I brought it back kicking and screaming sometimes by hitting a really good, skillful skill shot with the disruptor, keeping it stuck on people, and then going in and finishing them off. Only possible by me not having that lateral movement. You know what I mean? So fun. It was really fun to kind of open up and be like, okay, my character is like evolving and I'm thinking about the map and everything. Those are the best examples. I don't know if everything is going to be like that, and I typically stayed away from characters I thought had a, not as fun of a rule set, or like a perk set rather. So characters like Genji, I think, has pretty lame perks overall, so I kind of stayed away. And again, I kind of got shoehorned onto DPS just because that's what the matchmaker gave me. So I played a lot of different DPS today. So that is kind of like, that I think is where like it's going to be the most interesting, right? It's not just picking your favorite perks, which you could do, I guess, but really engaging with what the enemy team has, what the map is, trying to figure out what is going to be the best strategy. Especially on ladder, you can think a lot more selfishly, but in organized play, you're going to have to really think about what your team has, right? What does your team need? Since I think with perks, you're going to have a lot more people with, a lot more like different options and coverage, rather. You need to have that coverage too. If you let the other team have so much extra stuff, then you need to make sure that you're covering for that. Now, the opposite is that you could all just go all in on like the single same perks. Again, if you're really communicating with everybody, perhaps you have these super fast dive characters. You take the hazard leap. You take, I don't even know, like some of the other like really good divey-esque perks like that. But you get the idea, right? It's really interesting. It's really fun when it works out. Are all the perk sets like that? I don't know. To be honest with you, I haven't really figured it out yet. I haven't played everybody. I haven't gotten a chance to try all of them, right? That just comes with time. Also, I want to say, I am like 90% sure that they swapped what side of the screen Orisa's perks are on from the spotlight to the main game, because my very first game I wanted the charged spear and I hit right and it was the barrier. And maybe I just messed it up, but I am 90% sure it was not like that in the first build. I could be wrong. I'm gonna have to go check the VOD, but that's just a me thing, right? So that leads me into the other thing, knowledge, right? When I prepared beforehand, right, where I was sitting waiting for the game to start, I'm checking my perks and I'm going, okay, I want this one, right? I'm planning, I'm thinking this, if this ends up happening, I'm going to go with this one instead. That is really, really good, because the second you get that perk, then you can equip it without even thinking, right? Also, little thing, I wish that when you see the perks on the hero information screen, they were side by side rather than one on top of the other, because it's easier to visualize which side you're going to be picking. Makes it really easy in game, just be like, okay, I'm picking left, then right? You know what I mean? Or left and left. Instead of just like, okay, this one's on top, so I'm gonna have to read and make sure I pick the right one. You don't want to be doing that if at all possible. So being prepared and being ready to pop your perk as early as possible, I think, is really important. Now, it looks like there are a lot of characters that have adjusted like charge rate, right? So I think Widow gets her first perk really quickly in comparison, especially, with Infrasight. It's kind of the same thing, you get Infrasight early. But I was playing Sombra and I got my first perk before my first EMP. Like, there's a couple characters where you're going to get your first perk beforehand, and other characters you're not. Part of that is going to come down to speed of the fight, right? I think if you stall out, and you play slow, you're actually going to get your ult more often than your perk first, because you're going to get time, right? You're going to have passive ult charge. Passive perk charge isn't a thing. All perk charge is active. So if a fight is quick, I think you actually will probably end up getting more perk charge compared to your ult charge, because that time variable isn't as drastic, right? So characters that wanted to slow it down, like Sigma in BAP, I was getting ults first before I was getting perks. I think that's interesting to kind of like figure out, like, this comp wants to play for ults, this comp wants to play for perks. How do we stop that, right? If we're like, easy example, I'm on a comp that plays for ults first. They're on a comp that plays for perks first. How do I use my ults to shut down their perks, right? There are a couple minor perks that should not be minor perks. Sojourn should not have the overclock that one-shots you as a minor perk. I will just say that right here. There's a couple of those that are a little ridiculous in my opinion. It's fun, obviously, but yeah, it's a bit ridiculous that some of those perks are allowed to be where they are. Some tuning of that's going to happen. I do think a couple of the perks are probably going to need some tuning as well. I can feel that the Mauga one is probably going to be pretty good. Especially on points where, like, map types like control in particular, where you're going to spend maybe a lot of time fighting on point. That's going to be a lot more extra sustain for Mauga. And that's something to keep in mind as well. But yeah, I mean, I had a lot of fun today. I really did. I know I've been very, like, skeptical. Obviously, I think you guys have seen some of my recent videos, just like before the calm, before the storm. I had a lot of fun. Now, it is new. I was doing a lot of experimentation. I was playing with my friends. One of my friends who hasn't played in a while was coming back to try out the perks, right? So we were fun, trying new stuff. You know, I played a game on tour where I'm trying to stick turrets just in any which way. It's really, really silly, right? So right now, having a great time. But I will say I played one ranked game and the knowledge differential was intense. That's just going to come with it. I'm not saying that's a bad thing. But it was definitely not an incredible time when I'm watching my backline just die and die and die and pick the wrong perks because they weren't considering what the other team was running, right? So that is going to be really frustrating because watching your teammates pick the wrong perks and knowing that they can't swap off of them is going to really, really suck. And it already has. I'm like looking at the leaderboard. I'm like, why did they pick that one if they are getting dove by Sombra all game? I don't understand. You know what I mean? So that's going to be like really, really weird to try and like build around because then you have to swap and change your playstyle when in reality, I think a lot of it's supposed to be so you don't have to do that, right? It's in the hands of you. Or sorry, if you're, you know, everyone, it's in the hands of them. I don't know. I'm a little concerned about that, but that might just be growing pains for a little bit. And I think that's going to be, some people are going to get weeded out early because that was like, I almost lost my mind in that ranked game. I was like, what are we doing? What are we doing? We know Sombra's a problem. We keep picking the ones that don't save us. Like, nano yourself, buddy. You can nano yourself. Anyways, I'm just balding. Anyways, going on. I'm trying to think what's another thing here. The UI is good, I think. There's, you know, it's going to be a lot of trouble, or it's going to take a lot of time to know. Oh, another thing, if you go back into the game replays and you check the scoreboard, they actually don't have the perks in there. I would really wish they added that because that would help a lot with kind of like knowing what happened in that game. Obviously, you check the replay and the perks will be in there, but just on the scoreboard, that seems like something that was missed. Another thing, I'm trying to remember any of the other like quality of life things. I talked about them on stream. I'm kind of blanking at the moment. There are a couple of quality of life things, but for the moment, I think the implementation was pretty good. It was decent. I liked it. It's fluid. I highly recommend toggle instead of hold, just because you can have it up and ready to go in case you don't want to pop it right away. I don't know why you would, but I think it just makes it easier because it goes away when you click it, so you can just have it up and ready, and the second that you want to pop it, you can. So you can kind of like think about it while you're moving. I think it's a good way to do it. You can like look at it just in case you're kind of deciding. That's going to be really good early on as we're learning all of them. So keep that in mind. Another thing that was really tripping me up, and I knew this was going to happen, was that like I would plan for perks. I'd be like, okay, I want to get this perk first. I want to get this perk next, whatever, yada, yada, yada. And then like I would think I had that perk at the beginning. and I'd like TP on Sombra at like 50 health and I go, why didn't my passive kick in? It's because it's like 20 seconds into the game and I don't have my perk. So it's kind of tough to like kind of keep track in your head mentally about who has what perk, when do you have the perks, you know what I mean? It's, again, time. It's going to take a lot of time to get that drilled in to everybody's skulls, but it was like kind of a problem. Like I was playing poorly or playing wrong because I thought I had a perk, or I thought other people had a perk, or I just assumed people were taking perks that were better. You know what I mean? Like, oh, I assume you're going to take this perk in this situation. They don't, so I'm playing around something that I don't have to worry about. It's strange, right? Keeping track of every other people's perks in the game, that is the hardest thing, and that's going to be the hardest thing going forward. I can tell that this is going to be really fun, and it's probably going to make, I don't know, I think it's going to be fun. I think it's going to be fun on ladder. I think it's going to be fun in coordinated play. It's going to get exploited. There's going to definitely be some things that like show up. But we'll have to see, right? OWCS this weekend, playing on this patch. Excited. It's going to be really, really weird. But basically all my concerns from that video that I just posted on Monday. Yeah. They are still here. I can't confirm or deny because it's been 4 hours. So what am I supposed to do? I'm not a psychic. I don't know. We'll have to see. I had a good time. I had a really good time. Other things about season 15, I guess. The UI for everything else, I think looks nice in general. I think a lot of the more like darker accents and darker tones. I don't like light mode. I like dark mode. I think it just looks cleaner. I think they had a lot more like animations, like tinier animations that make the UI seem cleaner, more functional. Not sure how I feel about the career profile, but overall, I think I liked what I played, or at least, sorry, what I saw from the UI. The loot box system, it is completely free. It's good. Obviously, I got a lot today because I had the Discord thing and the extra ones and the ones from the Battle Pass. So I had a lot of loot boxes today. There's going to be a lot for this season that you're not going to have in most seasons, but the loot boxes are good. I think they are definitely a net positive. I hope they keep giving it to us generously. Something gives me a feeling that they won't. Because they're being very generous this first season. And I already got like Cardboard Diva, which just came out. Like I rolled that one. So I think that's good. I think we need to be able to like take a step back and be like, we're not going to get this many very often, right? We're going to get 3 a week going forward, probably some extra thrown in for events and stuff. So it's not going to be that much, and guaranteeing yourself a legendary, you maybe guarantee yourself 1 a season. You know what I mean? I'm not going to do the math right now. Maybe like 1.5 probably comes out to somewhere around that metric. But at least you're guaranteeing yourself stuff. Like what I was doing is I was going through and I was buying the cheapest legendary skins with legacy currency that I could find. So I could get them all out of my pool and then only have a better chance at getting shop legendaries or like Overwatch 2 like paid cosmetics. And I got one. Actually, I got 2. I think I got the Sombra Marionette one that I didn't like very much. But it happened. And, you know, it's so cool. And there was a couple other things too. Like, it's not just shop skins. I got like the Sojourn anniversary icon, which I missed for some reason. I was so pissed that I missed it. And I got that one. I'm like, oh, that's great. I don't care about souvenirs, but there was like the King's Row cart one, which was like a drop or something that I also missed. I got that one in my loot box. So it's not just legendaries and shop skins. It's like actually like exclusive items from different stuff. Also, if you saw, like, they do have quite literally a list of everything that you can get, but it doesn't say for who. It just says what the cosmetic is called. So it is so funny to just scroll through this extremely long list of like the title of a voice line and the title of a skin, and there's like a million different trick or treats on the first page of like one of them. It's so funny. They definitely need to clean that up later. There are definitely some UI things that are bugged with it, but it's fine. The systems work. It's good. Yeah, I think that's probably it for this for now. I have more thoughts. I can't really think of them right now. I'm doing this again off the dome. I needed to make sure I got something ready to go for tomorrow. So what do you guys think? Have you played it? Please let me know. But before you go, down below, please like and subscribe. I do really, really appreciate it. Join my membership if you want to. And again, comment below. What do you think? Have you been having fun? Do you like it? What do you expect is going to happen in the future? Love to hear back from you guys. I stream live, twitch.tv/LaytonHemingway, and here on YouTube now, I'm doing multi-streaming. Chat, unfortunately, chat is going to be for Twitch only for right now. During this window, if you want the Tracer Rainy Day recolor skin, if you gift 2 subscriptions to a streaming Overwatch person, you know, you can get that one. So I highly encourage it if you want to. I really do appreciate it. You don't have to. You can just watch the stream and get your Twitch drops regular as well. And join my Discord down below to keep up to date with all that stuff. Check me out there. The podcast will be coming to Spotify as soon as I can figure it out. I don't think it's that hard. But be on the lookout for the first episode getting uploaded and another episode coming next week. Okay, that's all I've got. Thank you guys so much for watching, and please have a good day.